So, Carolyn, aka Doodle, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, I think there's not going to be many people that wouldn't know who you were, but could you just give us a quick
There
introduction?
are.
No, there's
I'm Carolyn, aka Doodle on a Motorcycle. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram under those things. I've been posting since the day I got my very first bike. Really just a way to kind of document myself learning to ride. And I didn't know anybody who rode, but I was so excited. I just wanted to talk about all of it. So YouTube
awesome.
seemed like a great place to just overshare how much I loved it and every little thing that I learned or did.
That's
And
awesome.
I just haven't stopped for the past 5 years.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, you've been in the game a long time. I mean, 5 years is a long time in YouTube years.
I guess so. You know what? I haven't even had a job for more than 5 years now that I think about it. I usually quit after a couple of years, or at least I want to quit after 2 years, and maybe I'll stick it out for a third, and then I'll quit.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that. That's what
going
my
on.
resume was for the longest time. I was doing contract
Hmm.
work. It was like year and a half, 2 years, year and a
Yeah,
half. I fully
yeah.
get that.
Office life. Oh, it's just none of it. It's just draining.
I,
Even yeah.
I saw
I'm
your video, and it was an older video about how you like to ride alone because you need that downtime, and I can so relate to that.
Oh yeah, especially less so now that I am working full time on YouTube and I'm
Mhm.
home with by myself or with my husband Cody, who's also very quiet all day. So I need it less, but I do love my solo rides.
Yeah, you don't realize how much an office environment is draining.
Oh, I realize
It's
it.
insane. Yeah. Well, I'm saying in general, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh gosh, it's exhausting just hearing people talk all day when you're trying to get some work done. And
I
yeah,
started working from
people are fine
home
with it, but
right before the pandemic hit.
hmm
So I was
hmm
already used to it at that point.
mm,
But after a
hmm
while, you're like, wow, this really is nice. There's nobody like
yes.
crashing into my office or,
Yes.
my
Oh
cat.
yeah.
My cats are a little bit of bad coworkers, but
Aw.
what can you expect? I could stop getting cats to
How many do you have?
four. Don't judge.
That's a lot of cats.
Well, yes. So, but in all fairness, we had our original three, and then we had six because we fostered a cat we found outside. It had kittens.
Oh.
We could let them
Oh.
outside. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
so we did the whole. Wow, we just went off the deep end, but that's okay. This is fun. So
People
my
like
wife's a
cats
big
too.
yeah, my wife's a big fan of the kitten lady. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Oh, we can do this. It'll be easy."
Aw.
We have my wife is a painter, and we have I don't know if it's insulation, but it's a metal material that's in our ceiling to kind of stop anything from falling out through the floors and stuff on our paint. The cats now live up there. It's really funny. You'll see like a cat moving through the ceiling. It's crazy.
Aw.
Yeah, but they're
Your whole house
fun.
is an obstacle course for them now.
Yeah, I
It's a good
mean,
life.
yeah,
It's a good life.
I mean, for them, they love it. For
Hmm.
us, you're like, don't knock yourself off the ceiling, please. Do you have any pets?
I do. I have one little Yorkie. She's tiny. That was unplanned and unknown, but she's like 6 pounds.
Oh,
She's
nice.
pretty. Yeah, she's tiny, but a firecracker.
Oh, yeah,
She's
those little dogs have no fear. They're
Oh yeah. Well, she has a lot of fear, but she has a lot of sass too.
okay. Now, do you
Yeah. So
carry
I
her
need to.
around in a bag like Paris, or do you just?
No, she gets very nervous doing anything out of the ordinary. So
Okay.
so basically like even driving, like get her being in the car isn't
Hmm.
ordinary enough. It's not common enough. So she's recently
Really?
started pooping on my lap in the car. It's pretty gross. But so
Okay.
now that
So
now
I'm
the
not
trick
getting a
is
dog.
oh, you can get a dog. Just not like I don't. Well, I love her so much. I wouldn't change her, but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you probably won't have a dog pooping on your lap. I think that's less common, but you'll love them so much it'll be worth it, even if you hate them at the moment.
I know that cats have that disadvantage too. They do the, yeah.
They
My
do that too.
well, not pooping on you, but we took one of the kittens of the litter. She's about 11 weeks old now. She's really little.
Oh.
She climbs up we have a 6 foot giant bay window. She
Oh.
climbs up the curtains like she's in Circus Delay. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's really
Wish I had
funny when
climbed
you're
up
eye to
there.
eye with a cat standing up. You're like, get down. They're crazy. It's fun,
Yeah,
but
they are. They are.
they crash my video calls all the time too, which is fun. They're
Oh, I hope
locked
they
out
crash
today,
today.
but for work
Oh.
calls, they always crash in.
Mm.
But so, what do you currently ride?
I own a Triumph Street Triple R
Okay,
675. It's in the shop. It's been in the shop forever because of this pandemic.
art stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I ordered some parts for a friend's MT-03 that I had dropped in a trailer, and two of the parts. So I ordered it in June, I want to say. Two of the parts just arrived this month, so 2 months later,
Yeah,
and one of the parts is still delayed and it's been pushed to the end of October. So that'll put it at like
it's
almost 4 months.
absolutely ridiculous.
I know, it's crazy.
And
Luckily, my
it's
part has shipped. It's just now the technician is on vacation.
never
But
fails.
I know, right? End is in sight, but that's what I own. What I have in my garage right now, borrowing it from Honda to review, is a Honda CB 650R.
Nice.
Yeah, and Honda did this thing that is I'm like, why did you do this, Honda? But their naked version is the CB650R, which is what I have right now. And they have the version with the fairings, basically the same thing, but with fairings, is the CBR650R. So if you're reading quickly, they both look the same.
Oh, that's funny.
I know. So like Kawasaki did like name them very differently. Like there's the Ninja 650 and the Z650.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm like, see, that makes it so much easier. Now people like me who just like to skim things, I'm like, wait, isn't that the same bike? Yeah,
I
people were
think they
commenting on that video.
we were at the International Motorcycle Show this weekend, and I couldn't
Yes.
believe some of the lineup of bikes, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a I mean, obviously I ride, but I don't follow like all the brands. And it was
Mm-hmm.
interesting to walk around. Like Royal Enfield must have had 30 bikes
Oh,
there. I was like, holy smokes!
yes.
Like, it was
Mm-hmm.
cool. It was really neat
Yeah.
to see stuff that you normally wouldn't see.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Generally like
I love
wander
those
into a
motorcycle
Yamaha
shows.
dealership. The motorcycle shows are
Yes.
great. So
Yes.
we missed Lolly by, well, my wife saw her. I didn't see her. I'm like,
Mm.
what? You couldn't have said she was there?
Oh.
Come on. That's so funny. But no, it was a good time. So so what did you start out riding?
My first bike was a Suzuki S40 Boulevard, a one-cylinder
Okay.
650 little
Sure.
cruiser. Yeah, it was tiny, and back then I was so sure I was a cruiser girl for life.
Okay.
And then I got on a Triumph's friend street on a whoa, I got on a friend's Triumph Street Triple R, and I switched to sport naked bikes, and I've never looked back.
Nice. The Suzuki's a nice little bike.
It
I had
is.
I had the Intruder before it became the Boulevard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had the 1500. That was a nice bike.
Mm-hmm.
I rode the hell out of
Yeah,
that
and
bike.
they're surprisingly easy to lean and like get slow speed skills down on. Um,
Yeah.
like I did a lot of slow speed skills classes when I first got my bike, and I think I maybe took one of the classes like 12 times. But I remember I got pretty good with those tight turns and all the exercises. And right now, that is not the case. I've been struggling with my bike. I'm still trying, but I'm like, I am not as good as I once was.
Well, and it's funny too, because everyone thinks like, oh, you have this big bike, but the little bikes are so much fun. My wife has a 250 Pelagio scooter. That thing's more fun to ride than my big
Mm.
Harley because it's so nimble. You can turn
Oh,
it around like in a
yes.
parking spot. It's really fun.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
that's how
there's
I feel
no weight to it.
yes. Yeah, that's how I feel anytime I get on something even just a little bit smaller than my bike. So like a 300 or 400 bike, I'm always
Mhm.
like, oh, I feel so powerful.
And I saw you're taking the dirt biking classes lately too.
Yes. Uh-huh. That's been a lot of fun.
I didn't realize, and I completely spaced out on her name, but the GS rider, I didn't realize she was that short. I didn't
Oh,
realize
Jocelin
that,
Snow.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's tiny.
That's wild. And
Mm-hmm.
because that's a big bike.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
incredible. So where's that class going to be?
Jocelyn Snow's class.
Hmm.
So I'm actually not sure if it's an official class or if it's just in her backyard, but
Okay.
because she built like a whole trail in her backyard to practice riding adventure bikes. So she is in Monterey, California. So I will be flying there towards the end of October, and I've
Very
got 2 days with
nice.
her. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm hoping I'll be riding on top of cars and logs like she does.
Okay.
I asked her that too. I was like, "Will I be riding on cars?" And she said, "It's actually not that hard." I'm like, "All right." So we might be
Everyone
able
needs
to.
to do that once. That would be
I know, right?
awesome. Oh, that would be incredible.
I know.
Now, what are you going to be taking a dual sport or are you riding a BMW?
Um, so that's what I'm not sure
That's
because
fine.
we
I was just
are,
curious.
yeah, I am looking for, I currently don't have a bike lined up
Okay.
for my trip with her. Um, yeah, I'm kind of, because I'm not riding, I'm flying there.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, and then I'm also meeting up with motojitsu and we're both reaching out to contacts we have and seeing who can lend me a bike or where I can rent a bike. I have one lined up with motojitsu. One of his friends has my same bike, so he's going to let me borrow
Okay.
that when I'm riding with motojitsu. But with Jocelyn Snow, did I email? I think I emailed. Yeah, I don't know. She did give me a couple places to rent from if I don't get from one from like a manufacturer or some of the
Hmm.
contacts I have. Um, but yeah, hopefully the hope is for me to get on an adventure bike.
That'd be
Um,
awesome.
yeah, that's what we're aiming for. And if not, then a dirt bike. I think she has a dirt bike for me to borrow, actually. I can't remember now.
Okay.
But that's the plan. Adventure bikes
So
with
you going to
Jocelyn
rock a
Snow.
1250 or is that what we're going to see you on? Riding a
Uh,
car?
I don't know.
That would be
I have no
awesome.
idea. It'll probably depend what I can
That's
find.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
also, yeah.
that's a fantastic bike too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and surprisingly low. I think it's the 1250 that I'm thinking of. I remember there was a girl that brought a GS to class. Now I can't remember if it was a 1250 or what, but she brought it to one of the MSF classes, let me sit on it, and I was surprised at how low it was. I'm like, this is actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I first started riding, I started watching The Long Way Around, and that's always been like the bike I've always wanted. I don't know that I'd ever buy one.
Wow.
There's that romanticness of an adventure bike. I had a
The
KL
GS 1250.
yeah, I had a KLR
Mm-hmm.
before with the
Mm-hmm.
side panniers and all. That was just fun. It was so much fun to
Ooh.
ride because you could
Oh
take it off
yeah.
road, you could take it through the water. It was fun.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah, it
cool.
was it wasn't. And the nice part was too. It wasn't an expensive bike. It was used, and as it should be. It's an adventure bike, so it's gonna get beat up, and that was the
Yeah.
best part of it. You weren't out there polishing chrome or worried about all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Oh
that's
yeah.
cool.
That'd be something to think about.
Yeah. So when you started, sorry, we're going all over the place. When you started YouTube, you started that out
Mhm.
just pretty much to document your experience. I mean, did you ever think that it would turn into what it has?
Um, I started out um mainly just because I wanted to talk about it so badly. I was so excited about what I was doing. And I didn't know anybody who rode except for the people I met in the MSF course. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about it so bad. I wanted to talk about everything about it.
Sure.
And part of it too was I wanted to keep myself accountable. Um, since I didn't have anyone to talk to about it, I thought, well, if I'm posting it publicly, then that's some pressure for me to keep doing this and keep improving
Okay.
because people are watching me. Um, and with YouTube, I did have the thought, I'll just post like 3 videos and then I'll be a full-time YouTuber. But I didn't realize that's not how it works with YouTube. um, I wish
My
I
kids,
would have.
you just ruined all my kids' dreams. They're like, oh, that's it. I
No,
can't.
no, there's whole lot you got to learn in there, and a lot of work to do behind the scenes. Maybe to some people it comes naturally. I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't think so. I think even the people who you love to watch know what they're doing. Like
Sure.
they're learning the platform, they're honoring the algorithm some, they're honoring that. Um, and they're also just fun people, fun to watch maybe, or they're giving really good information.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, my biggest regret was that I didn't start trying to learn about how to make YouTube sustainable until like year 4, like after I had made about 100 videos.
Okay.
So up until then, it had really just been a hobby. It paid me like a hobby, but yeah, then I realized, I am spending so much time on this. I either need to stop or figure out how to at least get paid to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, I was getting paid some, but not worth what the time I was putting into it. And then, I mean, it was worth it for me for 4 years. It was really fun hobby. But then after 4 years, I'm like, oh, I can't keep dedicating so much time to just a hobby. I need to be responsible. Um, yeah, so I just really made an effort to learn how about the algorithm and about how people make a sustainable living off of YouTube. And it's surprisingly not that complicated. It's a lot of details that I wasn't doing, a lot of little things that I wasn't doing. But once I started to learn them and started to apply them, it's surprising like what a difference just a little tweak can make.
Okay.
Like, yeah, just like just a change in your title and your thumbnail. So people are more interested to actually click on it. And that just, that alone just can make such a difference.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like you said, you almost have to be a student of the game. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
There's constantly figuring it out, and the algorithm changes and things like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You put all that work into something, you publish it, and you're like, well, that was fun, and then nothing happens, and then or you do something that's really ridiculously silly, and it just explodes, and you're like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll figure this out eventually.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I know
how
that
was
feeling.
that transition for you to go full time to YouTube? I mean, because like you said, I mean, let's be honest, everyone thinks that, right? You buy a
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle, you spend the $500 on the GoPro, and you go out and you're going to be a YouTube celebrity. I mean, what was that transition like? Because obviously this
Mm-hmm.
is your business, you've built a brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How was that to navigate? I mean, obviously it's been difficult, I'm sure.
Um, I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
And when I quit my office job, it was it was rather everything had just gotten too busy to the point where I couldn't keep doing both. And what I mean by that is, sure, when you're making YouTube videos, you're your own boss and you can decide how much content you make, when you make it, if you skip that week or not. Um, I'm actually pretty strict with myself as far as all the things, all these deadlines and things I give
Hmm.
myself. So as a boss to myself, I'm kind of a hard ass boss. But on top of that, it's also just other companies reaching out, and then just coordinating with them, like what you're going to do, if you're going to do it. And I remember when I finally quit my office job this year, I had, and that I had told my boss on a Tuesday that I just had to quit. I couldn't keep doing both, and I had to choose one or the other. Um, and at that point, I had about 6 different companies that I was either collaborating with or planning on a collaboration with or a sponsorship or something with. And I realized I had just run out of time. I realized I have reached like an impossible time limit. I can't do all these things I want to do with these companies on top of all the things I want to do with my content on top of work. So I told her on a Tuesday, and then within the next couple of weeks, I got 2 more brand deals that I was really excited about. Um, and I don't mean like pretty much as soon as you start uploading YouTube videos, you've probably experienced this too. You'll get a lot of companies reaching out to you,
Hmm.
many of which you don't want to work with. Like some of them are like, "Will you make a video at reviewing this $30 flashlight for us?" And I'm like, "No, why? Why the hell would I spend several hours of my time for a free flashlight?" Um, so there were definitely a lot of no's, but these were all like companies that I thought I was either already using something of theirs myself, or I thought they were really cool and something I knew that the people I make videos for would like.
Okay.
Um, so so that was how I came to that. Was it just got too busy.
Sure.
Um, yeah, and I'm definitely still figuring out this time management thing with I mean, I have myself as one boss, but then I guess I also have like half a dozen to a dozen other bosses at a time that I'm managing different collaborations with, or yeah. So I don't think I've figured it out quite yet, but I did get to a point at least where it was strong enough that I could quit my office job.
That's
But
awesome.
oh, thank you. But I definitely have a lot to learn.
And I think that that's the problem. And I've noticed that like from working from home, you just don't stop working, and,
Yeah.
and social media's got to be, oh my God, it's the worst. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no downtime. You're either, if you deal with a lot of companies, a couple of companies I deal with are on the West Coast. So I'm East Coast time. So at 12 o'clock at night, they're still working, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe not 12. Well, probably some of them are. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a challenge to manage your time because you're so available, but you have to sort of segregate, what that time is for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And saying no too. Like I didn't I thought that if I just said yes to all the things I really wanted to do, then that would be enough. But then I realized I think I've said yes too many times, just like
Hmm.
time wise, or yeah. So that's another thing that I'm trying to figure out. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, especially because you're on all this major social medias, and that's a time suck right there. Because everyone tells and it is true, right? To grow an audience, you need to engage with your audience, but to engage with
Mm,
your audience, it's almost a full time job.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That's part of it. I am always on my phone looking at
Aren't
comments.
we
So
all, right?
yeah. And so it doesn't feel like it takes a lot of time because I don't do like comments in bulk.
Hmm.
I just do it all day throughout the day, every day. Just like constantly. So it just kind of feels like I'm just texting a friend that likes to text a lot.
Okay, that's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good idea to look at it. Yeah, it
Hmm.
makes it a little different for
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
So I guess too, how does that impact your riding? I mean, do you find that now that it's full time that the business aspect of your brand gets in the way of the enjoyment? I've often
The
wondered that.
enjoyment, I would say definitely not. Motorcycles are still really fun. Um, but I thought I'd be riding more than I am.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
yeah, but it seems like I don't know, I just have a lot of work to do. And I guess I'm not commuting anymore either. Um, so I realized if I let myself on autopilot, then it's definitely possible that I will have gotten very few rides in that week.
Gotcha.
Um, so it's something to pay attention to for sure. Yeah, that's probably the main thing. But so far, getting on a bike hasn't gotten old.
Good.
Um, I guess I have taken a lot of classes and back to back and in the heat of the summer. So sometimes that I wasn't looking forward to that. Some mornings I kept hoping it would rain so I wouldn't have to go. So I can just like stay home and relax and be in the peace and quiet and not be hot all day. But every time once I got there, it was always really fun.
Yeah.
It was just
Sometimes it's
getting
just
there.
getting that push to get out the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of people will that do vlogs are constantly filming, and that to me, I don't know. To me, it's kind of hard because the riding is what I enjoy, and you want
Mm-hmm.
to capture that at some level, but at the same time, then it becomes all for someone else and not for you. You know, there's a lot of freedom in not talking to yourself while you're riding.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think as long as, I mean, if you plan ahead, like I haven't gotten to that point where I'm vlogging more than I'm just riding. I definitely ride more than I vlog. Just because I don't know, I don't make that many videos.
No, I know, but I know a lot of people that are like, "Oh, but you record everything you ride." I'm like, "No, I'd rather do an install video for that week and have that than I would to take away from my riding, because so it's just fun to get lost in the ride." You know, or hang out with your buddies and not be like following them around with a camera.
Yes, sometimes it is nice to just be in the moment and talk to people.
What was your RevZilla experience like when you went to Texas? That seems like that would be great. So RevZilla is about 20 minutes from me. They're Philadelphia showroom. And
Nice.
I love their company. I mean, that was like the first place I started when
Me too.
I started riding.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So the Get On Moto Fest, that was put on by RevZilla and their partner companies. And it was basically organized to kick off being allowed to gather in large groups again. Well, I don't know how that's going to keep going, but yeah, basically kick off that and kind of started or led with inviting a bunch of vloggers. So that was neat, because I've pretty much, if I go to a motorcycle type event, usually someone will say, "Hey, I watched you on YouTube," but it doesn't happen a lot. And especially, I don't think it's happened somewhere not at a motorcycle event, like at Publix.
No
but at the Get On Fest
yet.
No. But at the Get On Fest, I mean, that was organized with vloggers, like as a big presentation part of it. So that was like, I was like, so many people know who I am here. What? Yeah, that was surreal. That was very surreal.
Yeah.
And someone asked me a couple of people asked me for like an autograph, and they're like, "You don't have a Sharpie?" I was like, "No, I need a Sharpie? What?" I mean, that's never happened before. That's only happened at the Get On Moto Fest.
So you're only just months away from having a security detail, because you're gonna need to push people out of the way. That's really funny.
Yeah. Team of 3 hiring former CIA agents, please.
That had to be a very unique experience, because I never thought about that, because you put stuff out, but most people you put stuff out, you never meet those people, that you interact with.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was
I mean,
surreal.
that seems like it would be overwhelming at some level.
I think it was at times, because I'm not used to talking to people so much in person. Mostly it's all online when I'm at home alone or on a ride alone. So there were a couple times like I was trying to go to the bathroom, and then before I knew it, it was 40 minutes later, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta pee so bad!" And I was running. Just kept bumping into people who watch my videos. And we would sit and talk for a little bit, and I just but that's only ever happened at the Get On Moto Fest at that scale, for sure.
Yeah, I could see where the anonymity of riding would definitely be better than that. I couldn't deal with that. Too many people. I don't really do people. People are always like, "Oh, you're gonna go to Bike Week?" No, I'm fine.
Yeah,
that's always a weird experience. I'm not I don't know. I know a lot of people like to go to bike rallies. I'm like, if I'm going to go to Daytona, I'd rather just go ride somewhere than sit at Daytona for a week or what have you.
Yeah, I don't think I've done many of those big events like that.
Yeah, that was at a dealer event in the Poconos, and it was I wouldn't say it was super packed, but it was still one of those things where I'm like, I'd rather just be riding. I don't need to be sitting here.
That's funny.
So is Doodle a childhood nickname? Where did that come from?
No. So that was a nickname given to me by my martial arts instructor.
Okay.
I was doing graphic design work for him for his school. And one day when I came to present what I had, I thought he said, "What have you got for me, doodle?" To this day, I don't know what he actually said, but he might have just said, "What have you got for me today?" Maybe that's probably what he said. Actually, I don't know. But I said, "Did you just call me doodle?" And he said no. But after that, he did.
Oh,
Like
that's
everyone
funny.
at the martial arts school did. I don't know. It just stuck.
It's awesome. I mean, and that's good branding too, right? It's memorable. It sticks out. You're not dealing with many doodles.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I think it's kind of a long YouTube channel name. I kind of regret that part, but oh well.
What are you gonna do,
Like,
right?
I don't know. I'm like, damn it, a doodle. That sounds like a child. I wish I would have come up with something shorter and more sophisticated, like her two wheels.
Well, at least you didn't do the whole thing where you're blocking your face out, and
Mm.
that to me
And then
seems
reveal
like,
it.
yeah,
The face reveal.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
funny.
I don't know why I didn't feel like doing that. I don't know. I guess because I thought that you do that because you're doing illegal things on the road and you don't want to get caught. Because I'm like, I mean, I'm just showing my gear and talking about my slow speed skills class. I don't mind if anyone sees this from work or family.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are very conscious about that in today's world. Like, oh, well, what if work sees it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a different situation, clearly,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
interesting. So, what is how do you like to ride? You're in Georgia, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, so where's
Yes.
the go-to place there?
Ooh, North Georgia mountains.
Okay,
That's the best place to ride. Um, yeah, I do some in-town commuting and I do country rides, but really only if I like recently I went on a country ride with a girl who was really new at riding.
hmm
And I think she's most of her rides have been following her boyfriend in his car. So she really wanted to go on a ride with another rider as a guide, like leading the way.
sure.
And she was not comfortable with the idea of going into the mountains yet. So we went on a country ride. But yeah, if I can swing that almost 2 hour ride up there, if I have the time for that, that's my favorite. Are the tight mountain curves up in two wheels and suches. I mean, up in suches.
Okay,
Yeah, such as Georgia.
because I know Brit Rep rides. Well, that's where her accident was in Blood Mountain. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it looks like beautiful country. I'd love to get down there.
It is.
I'll get to
It
the
is.
aquarium eventually, and then I'll just ride down.
Oh yes, the Georgia Aquarium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
That's
love
all
the
I
Georgia
hear
Aquarium.
about at least once a week that my wife wants to go. We
Really?
were going to go. We had it planned, and
Oh.
then the world stopped, and well,
Aw.
life changes. But that's fine. We'll go again.
Yeah, yeah, you got to go. I love that place. I used to volunteer there because I just wanted to be there a lot,
Did you?
more than
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Because
cool.
when you volunteer, you can take classes there, and they basically like just teach you about the animals in like a classroom setting, and then you also and you can kind of pick what shift you do. So I was like the two fingers only girl at the touch pools, for a few years. But you get to pick like where in the aquarium what shift you're going to be and where you're going to be standing. But I
Oh,
mean,
that would be cool.
I know I loved it because whenever I had gone and I had paid for a ticket, it was expensive and I couldn't even see because there were so many people. I could barely I just wanted to stand in front of the glass for like 40 minutes
Hmm
by myself. But it was always so packed. So once I started volunteering, I could do that. I was just standing in
Oh,
front of the
that's
glass
awesome.
for 3 hours by myself, staring at the animals. I'm like, this is heaven. Yeah,
Oh, that
but
sounds fantastic. I want to hang out with the
mhm.
otters. I saw there's a
Mm.
Animal Planet show, I think, that's at the aquarium. And they always show the otters. I'm like, see, I want to hang out with the otters. That seems like it'd be fun. Forget the
Oh
sharks. I
yeah,
don't have
they're
any
cute.
interest in that.
How dare you?
I'm just trying to be different.
They
See, if I could get an otter to ride a motorcycle, there's YouTube gold right there.
they probably would. They're so playful. They're like puppies.
They look really
Puppies.
cool. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
it's different. I went and
They just float on the water and hold
yeah,
hands when they sleep, so they don't drift. Yeah,
I just think they're really neat. It's
they
something
are. They're so cute.
different. So
Hmm.
that had to be a great job. Well, great volunteering. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but eventually I ran out of time because I was doing that and working full time and YouTube, and I thought, oh, one of these things has got to go.
Oh, geez, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As you
that's
can
got to be
see, I
hard.
my time management thing, I think I could just do all the things, and then I realized, oh, I can't. What I got to cut out now?
I think that's a lot of people's problem. You're like, why am I so stressed? Oh, it's because I'm doing 12 things at once.
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand the people who have so much free time that they just, I don't know, text you and say, hey, are you free tonight? I'm like, tonight? Why don't you put me on schedule 3 weeks away?
Unless
What?
there's a Google invite, I'm not there. That's funny.
Yeah, I have a friend that calls me every now and then just to talk, and that is the strangest thing for me. I'm like, you don't want to schedule this ahead of time? But I haven't told her that. I'll just pick up the phone and chat with her. But that's just so bizarre. I'm like, how what? How can you manage your time with just random surprises?
It is really funny in this day and age. Like you said, the phone rings. You're like, what the hell's that?
Yes.
Why are
I'm
they
like, is there
calling
an
me?
emergency?
Yeah, is
Is
someone
everything
dead?
okay? Yeah.
Couldn't you have just sent me an emoji and we could have moved on? Like, come on. That's really
Extroverts.
funny.
Damn extroverts.
Oh, that's funny. It's like you said, I don't think people realize the time suck that all that is.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
creative part of it. So
Hmm.
what is your I'll just say what are your one more time. I'll just keep going with it. Your
What is
what
you?
is your blah blah. What do you film with? You're using a GoPro, I assume.
um, I use a GoPro 7, and
Okay.
sometimes a 5. I got an Insta 360 like 6 months ago. I haven't used it yet, so I'm going to make myself use it this week when I'm
Okay.
planning a mountain ride. And my phone,
Oh,
my iPhone for a
I think
lot of
that's
things.
awesome. Motoblind's giving me peer pressure that I need a 360. I told her no. It's maybe, possibly, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it could be
it
good.
just looks like a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never edited them before, but I remember like Flipna.
Hmm.
Um, he took his 360 to the Get On Fest, and he was saying how easy it is because he was like, you just set it and forget it. You just hold it there and you capture everything around you. And
Okay.
I like that. I'm like, oh, good, because a lot of times, so like especially with the MSF course things, like if I'm doing something else, I just forget about my camera, and some of the footage is like of like torsos halfway down or like of like a thigh, but I just leave it in because I'm like, oh, we're talking about something I want to share. But 360 would be good because I guess I could just edit it up, especially as a dash cam too, because I do all record every ride. I don't vlog every ride, but sometimes I just let it record. Oops, I'll just let it record just in
Hmm.
case something happens. So I bet as a dash cam, it could be really good too, just
That would
to
be
in
cool.
case, yeah, something in case something happens that you need to capture for insurance that's in front or behind or somewhere else. So I
Sure.
do like that. Hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Now,
Hmm.
what do you edit with?
iMovie
iMovie. Nice.
because it's free. I
Nothing wrong with
probably can
that.
upgrade at this point, but the first 4 years I was like, I'm not buying anything for this. I'm just gonna use whatever I already have. I did buy a voice recorder though. That was one of the things I did buy when I
Nice.
first started on YouTube, and I didn't make any money off of it. Um, but yeah, that's been my thinking. Is a long time with YouTube is that I don't want to spend anything that I haven't already made off of the channel.
Okay.
Um,
I think that's smart.
yeah, well, that's I guess that's kind of just how I do life
Hmm.
too, not just business. Yeah, no debt.
I know a lot of people will, it's funny. And I had done professional sports photography and stuff before I got into
Mm,
IT work. And
mm.
yeah, it's amazing the amount of money you can blow on camera equipment. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's like, oh, what do I
Mm-hmm.
need? And next thing you know, you're like $1,000 later, and you have two things. You're like, what did I just spend my money on?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I can get expensive
Uh,
real quick.
I think that that's a good way to do it, because I know a lot of people go heavy into, wanting everything right away, and then there's no return on it,
Yes.
especially as a
Yeah.
small
Plus,
creator.
yes. Plus, if you could focus on more than anything is the story, and like learning how to just tell a good story and how to just like connect with people better, that will go so much further than any beautiful lens or B-roll. I think, um, at least for YouTube. I don't know what it is, but I like, for instance, Janelle Eliana. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I
She
haven't.
she lives in a little blue van. Well, not anymore. I think she got another camper, but she lives full time in her van. And she went viral with her first video. It got like millions of views. Her second video got millions of views. Her third video got millions of views. And I think she was recording everything on like an iPhone 5. It was very crappy footage, but her first couple videos were a tour of her van, talking about how she started living full time in it. And she was really, really unique and funny and fun to watch. And she has a little white snake, pet snake
Oh,
named
that's
Alfredo.
cool.
Yeah, she was just cool. Like I remember I had never looked up a van video in my life. But her video popped up and I clicked on it and I watched the whole thing, and it was 30 minutes long. And then I looked on her channel and I watched the next two videos, which were also both about 20 to 30 minutes long. I'm like, oh, that's why she went viral, because she is so lovable. She made someone who doesn't even care about vans stay on YouTube for an hour and a half.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting point too, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
anything, you can get so lost in the technique of it rather than it's entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. Well, technology in a rule is a curse for that, because it's like, oh, but if I had this, next thing you know,
Yeah.
you have all this gear you don't use. That's got
Oh.
to be cool. So when something I wanted to ask you is, we're kind of coming up to an hour already. As a female rider, and I know that female space has become more and more of a market that vendors are looking to explore. I know Yamaha had I think it was Yamaha. Wow, somebody's going to throw me under the bus if I'm wrong, but they had like a women's only ride at the event, things like that. What do you think that the industry needs to do to involve more female riders? I mean, do you think that there's something that they could do? Do you think that it's just that it's gotten to the point where people like yourself, other creators have drawn them in and now it's become a hot market?
Mm, I don't know, because I think that women who um aren't riding now, um I don't know that they'll start riding because a company, I don't know, puts on an event for women's only riding. I mean, maybe some, for sure some women will probably, I know, are anxious to like start an MSF course, and if they're the only girl. So but I think the main thing is that it's just I mean, I am a millennial, so I'm 30. How old am I? I'm 32.
Okay.
And I think my generation, um, as opposed to like my parents' generation, like in my parents' generation, it's for women to be riding, it was completely bizarre
Okay.
and just completely against the status quo, and probably almost looked down on. I don't know. I think because it was just so rare.
Hmm.
But now women are becoming, and just people in general, I think are becoming less and less um, gender role specific. Like
Hmm.
it's okay if guys cook too. Actually, I'm like, if guys don't cook, if a guy doesn't cook, I'd rather just be single. I'm not cooking and cleaning for one guy. Like I don't need that. I can take care of. I'll take care of myself. I rather not take care of someone else too. Um, so I think, and sometimes, well, no, actually, Cody takes the trash out all the time, but I can.
But there was a line, it was trash. Okay, understood.
but I can take the trash out. And I mean, the other day I did pull it in, you know. I think just there are some things that are becoming less looked at as men only or women's only activities. And I think that just will keep growing with each generation, each group. So I don't know. I think of it more like that. Like it's just the change of how people are and how society is versus something companies are or are not doing.
Okay, that's fair. Because I know like you see, and maybe it's because of YouTube, but you see more videos of babes ride out. You see things like that. So I didn't know what your perspective on that would be.
Yeah, I have noticed that any videos or topics that I do where it's about women riders, those videos often perform very well for me. Or if I do like a live stream and I have another girl, or if I do an all girls live stream, though, like generally my live stream live at the time will maybe have about 50 people watching, 50 to 100 on a good day. But the last all girls live stream I did had about 200 people watching.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I think the topic of women in motorcycles is definitely gets more traction. And I was doing it a lot more last year, but I gave in to the trolls who were telling me, why is it always about women? But now I think, you know what, that's stupid. Screw them. If you want to do a video about yourself or whatever you are, then do it. And I'm a girl. I needed this myself when I first started riding. I needed to hear about the topic of being a woman rider, and I couldn't find it. So if you are struggling with something and you overcome it, or if you have any kind of insight and you don't share it with others that may be in the same position you were a few years ago, then you are doing a disservice. So I am going to make videos about women riders, and I don't care if my trolls get upset.
I think that that's fair. And I think that even as a small creator, that should be the goal, is to tell your story and to find something that's unique and you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about it, you'll do it rather than, you know, trying to become, you know, Instagram or YouTube famous, because everyone kind of takes that. A lot of people go at it as a business rather than looking at it as, you know, what's the mission, you know, of that.
Yes. And with the mission first, like that just leads everything in a much stronger way than wanting to be famous or make money.
Well, yeah, because like you said with companies, if you don't look at it like a business and there's not a return on your investment or what have you, you're just, like you said, you really want to review a flashlight. So it's cool that it's free, but what does that take away from something else you could be doing?
Yeah.
You know, and having that engagement with people, I think is more important than, because it's genuine if it's engagement rather than just being like, you know, I crashed my bike and, oh, God forbid, I shouldn't even say that, but you know, and I got, you know, 12 million views. I almost died.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So as we wrap it up, what would you like to tell people that if they haven't seen your channel? Like what is Doodle in a nutshell? Oh, that would have been a good channel name, actually.
Doodle in a nutshell.
I don't know. It just sounded good.
Yeah, that might have been better because I keep thinking.
Because then you could have branched out. You could have been Doodle on a boat, Doodle in a train,
swim with sharks. Doodle on a motorcycle, swimming with sharks doesn't quite make sense, but I really like sharks and I want to swim with them. And I didn't create my channel to showcase that. So, well.
That's funny.
Doodle in a nutshell, I would say is, you know, someone always asks me this in an interview, and every time I think, oh, I better come up with an answer for that next time because I didn't have one then, and now it is next time, and I don't have one now.
That's fair.
So I'm just gonna wing it as I go. So bear with me.
Wow, that's no worries.
I would say Doodle in a nutshell. I hope that I come across as an internet moto friend, and as someone that can help if you are a short rider or a women rider or just a rider that does not identify with the hooligans and the irresponsible people on the road.
Doing
who
wheelies,
just
yeah.
yeah, who cares about what their family thinks and who cares about not worrying them and who wants to grow to be an old lady or man still riding bikes. So I guess that's what I would say.
I think that that's positive. I mean, that's,
well,
well, and like you said, I mean, you watch these videos of people being hooligans and they're getting all these views and you're like, that's just stupid. That's just, that's just dumb. Don't promote that, please.
I mean, if they want to do it, that's fine. And I actually do like watching a really good wheelie, but I don't want to do it. Not in not on the street anyways. I don't want a cop getting
where I
upset
can't
with
fall
me.
over.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
So where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Doodle on a Motorcycle.
Okay. There you go. And YouTube as well, right?
And YouTube as well. Yes.
Awesome.
That's my main place.
Well, I hope that anyone's watching will take a moment to check out your channel and consider subscribing for sure. I mean, you have some great content, and I like that you're finding something unique. You know, everyone thinks that there's like you said with shorter riders, oh, I can't ride. There's a challenge there. You've overcome it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a positive role model for sure.
Well, thank you, Bry. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Bry, not Bree.
Yeah, Bry, Bree, whatever. It doesn't matter. As
Really?
long as the check cashes, I get Byron a lot too, and I don't understand that one either. Yeah, but
Wow,
whatever.
that's way off. They just threw in some more letters.
You just make stuff up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just like.
I thought Caroline. People calling me Caroline when my name is Carolyn was off. I'm like, do you see an I-N-E? Why? Why would you call that Caroline? But it's so common. It's more common for me to hear someone read my name and them call me Caroline versus Carolyn.
That's funny.
I almost tuned it out now. I almost don't even notice.
Most of the people just like, yeah, whatever. I'm trained enough at this point in my life where I just answer to it because I know where you're going. It's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Caroline. Yes, I'm here. Present.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.